The sun beat down on Maplewood Lane, where the air buzzed with whispers of scandal. Karen Mitchell, the self-appointed queen of the HOA, had always been a polarizing figure. Her clipboard was her scepter, her rules the law. But this time, she'd crossed a line that even her charm couldn't erase. It started with a Thermometer high-tech, solar-powered one owned by Tom Reynolds, a Vietnam veteran who'd moved to the neighborhood for peace. Tom's thermometer, mounted proudly on his porch, wasn't just a gadget. It was a symbol of his meticulous care, a small anchor in a life scarred by chaos. Karen, however, saw it as an eyesore. "It's tacky," she declared at the last HOA meeting, her voice dripping with disdain. "It doesn't match the aesthetic." Tom, sitting quietly in the back, had only clenched his jaw. Days later, the thermometer vanished. Neighbors whispered, but no one dared point fingers until Tom's security camera footage surfaced. There, in grainy clarity, was Karen, sneaking onto his porch at dusk, prying the device off with a screwdriver. The video spread like wildfire, and Maplewood Lane erupted. The confrontation unfolded in Tom's front yard, under the glare of a cloudless sky. Karen stood defiant, thermometer in hand, claiming she'd borrowed it to test its accuracy. Her voice wavered as Tom stepped forward, his weathered face a mask of betrayal. "You stole from me," he said, voice low but sharp enough to cut. "From a man who fought for this country." The neighbors, once Karen's loyal followers, shifted uncomfortably. Mrs. Patel, who'd always clashed with Karen, spoke up. "You've gone too far. This isn't about rules, it's about decency." The crowd murmured agreement, their unity a quiet rebellion against Karen's reign. Karen's composure cracked. "I'm protecting our property values," she snapped, but her words fell flat. The thermometer, now a symbol of her overreach, glinted in her hand. Tom's eyes burned with hurt, not just for the theft but for the violation of trust. The HOA had been his refuge, a place to belong after years of solitude. Now it felt like a battlefield. "You don't get to decide what's right for everyone," he said, his voice steady but heavy with grief. The tension peaked as Karen's husband, Mark, pushed through the crowd, pleading for calm. But even he couldn't defend her. The neighbors' voices rose, a chorus of frustration years of Karen's petty fines, her snide remarks, her iron grip on their lives. "You're not our judge," shouted young Jamie, a teenager who'd once been fined for his skateboard. The crowd closed in, not with violence but with the weight of their judgment. Karen, for the first time, looked small. The HOA meeting that night was brutal. Karen was stripped of her presidency, her name now a cautionary tale. Tom got his thermometer back, but the victory was hollow. He sat alone on his porch, staring at the device, wondering if community was worth the cost. Karen, meanwhile, faced whispers and cold shoulders. Her perfect world had crumbled, not because of the thermometer, but because she'd forgotten the human cost of her control. In the end, Maplewood Lane was quieter, but the scars lingered. Trust, once broken, was hard to rebuild. Karen's fall was a bitter reminder. Power without empathy burns out fast. What do you think, was Karen's punishment fair, or did the community go too far? How would you balance justice and compassion in a fractured neighborhood?